Hello and welcome to the KOFISI Connect podcast, your source for a wealth of roundtable discussions on the workplace and business, as well as cultural news and trends from the diverse and dynamic continent of Africa. I'm your host, Georgia Webber, and today I'm very pleased to introduce Jen Sapitro, who we have a long-standing relationship with. She is the Executive Director of Uweza. Jen, welcome today. It's so great to have you in the studio talking about something other than art today, because I know the foundation is has a wide remit than just art. And I think this is something that's very close to my heart as well, is just kind of sport and children. So can you tell me a little bit about the Uweza Sports Academy and the Football Academy? Tell me kind of what you're doing there.
Uweza, I'm executive director of Uweza Foundation. We work in Kibera mostly, in the largest informal settlement of Kibera. And so our soccer program, it was our very first program, actually. So Uweza kind of started in 2008, immediately after. So we kind of started with during the post-election violence. A lot of families in Kibera were affected.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of trying to help resettle them and, get them back into school, buy food and things like that, because there had just been a lot of violence in the area. And so some of the kids that we were working with just kind of came and said, we'd really love to play football. We're kind of just at home, so we'd love to have something to do. And so we bought some shoes and we bought some balls, and it just kind of grew out of there. But it was just kind of a group of kids that we were boys at the time that we were working with. They just kind of asked, we really want to play football. It's such a popular sport, in Kibera and Kenya. So from there it kind of grew because of the popularity among the kids. So we added women and girls later. And so, yeah.
I mean, they're impressive as well. These girls, I mean...
So today, we have boys and girls teams from under 8 up to senior teams, which are adults. And then our women's team right now is playing in the national Super League, the football Kenya Federation League.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do well. So.
Okay. And so how often where do the girls practice? As often?
Every day. I think they take Mondays off sometimes.
Okay.
But it's pretty much every day.
Okay. And the academy, is it just about football, or is it kind of adding fitness around it and nutrition and things? Is it?
So one of the reasons that we kind of came with it is that we found, because it's so popular among children and youth, that it's a really good way to reach them and other. If you said, for example, kids, we want to teach you about life skills, or, we want to do whatever intervention, you might not get so many kids coming. But because it's football, they all come, and then we can use football as a tool to kind of see how we can help them in other ways, whether it's education or in vocational training or life skills or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, sports is also learning other skills through sports is very key. I mean, I was very sporty when I was growing up, and I definitely think it taught me a lot about kind of team spirit and the pressure, and also just accountability as well, I think, which are obviously key life skills, as you were saying.
There's a stat that I heard, especially when it's related to women, that 94% of women who are in like a CFO or CO position, they played sports. So, which makes sense because of, you have to learn how to lose, how to fail, you learn teamwork, you learn how to work with other people. There are just so many skills that you don't even realize, maybe, that you're getting from playing sports. But I think it really translates into so many other areas of life.
And how are you measuring the impact kind of within the community? Is that something that you...
Yeah, so we tend to, I think what a lot of people tell me about our impact and like what really strikes them about Uweza is like our stories, because we tend to kind of work with kids for, I think even, from the art, some of the artists' names because we stay with them for a long time until we kind of see like now, they're at a point that we can kind of say we've done something. So I think our success and our impact is really in the personal stories of the kids we work with. So we can say, whether they're running a business or they graduated from university. So we're not really in terms of numbers. We can't say we helped thousands of people necessarily, but we can say we had a group of kids and we really made sure that we changed, their trajectory and changed their lives.
And then how does it impact other parts of the community, would you say?
I think in terms of the girls and women especially, we've really kind of been a leader in trying to push for girls and women to participate in sports. We were kind of one of the first ones to start a women's team. We were the first one to really also have girls So you'll find a lot of girls are playing with boys teams. It's like there's 2 girls and then 20 boys. But we've really tried to push, like, let's make girls teams and have girls friendly matches and girls tournaments. And so we found that if we kind of push and make it look like, a fun and exciting thing, then we find other women's and girls teams starting as well. And kind of it's growing from there. We also really try and talk to the parents and community members about, why it's important and why. You find that girls a lot of time, they're the ones taking care of their younger siblings, or they're the ones doing all the household chores while their brothers are, just going out to play. So it really takes a lot of just talking to the parents and explaining to them and showing them, once they see, how the girls are thriving, they kind of realize, like, yeah, this is important for girls too.
And we've got International Women's Day this month, and a theme that we wanted to kind of bring out within the discussion was the theme of sort of mentorship as well. How important are mentors, would you say, to empowering the future women leaders of tomorrow?
I think it's really important. I think a challenge that we have right now in this space is that women's football is just traditionally been so underfunded, and so, like, it hasn't gotten enough attention, that is still growing. So I don't think we have enough, to have a mentor. Then as a women's football player, you need to have years of, right now you could name so many men's players, that have kind of come through the system and are now even retired. But I don't think we had even many women's players who have gotten to the point, of retirement yet. So we really try and mentor them, but I think to be able to do that really well, we need to see more women's players who have kind of gone through it, and they've retired, and they have experience, or they're at least playing actively, that they can come in and kind of mentor the younger kids. So I think it's something that the more we push for women's and girls sports, the more we can see, these kind of mentors come.
Sure. I mean, it's only kind of just happened as well in the global north, not just, but it's one of those things that it's the women's game has grown.
Yeah, it's having a moment.
Yeah, definitely having a moment.
Overdue.
Yeah,
Moment. Yeah.
So those girls should be watching the TV as well, watching Arsenal and Chelsea
Yeah.
women's.
Yes, it's funny. My daughter, she's 10. She complains that, like, why do we have the World Cup and then the Women's World Cup? Why isn't it the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup? Or even if you look at the Kenyan national team, it's Harambee Stars and Harambee Starlets. So all the women's teams are still kind of seen as, like, offshoots of men's teams. And so I think I really hope for a moment where we can see, women not as an extension of men's sports, but, like, as they're worth supporting on their own. And even if there was no Harambee Stars, for example, we all still go watch, Harambee Starlets.
And that, of course, then you can use that kind of analogy in, within life skills as well, actually breaking down barriers and making sure, that women are seen as equal on all platforms.
Yeah. Which as the default on their own, not as an extension of something that matters.
Oh, fantastic. So the Uweza, you're taking part again in our discussion. Thank you for that. In our Empower Her Future Fireside Chat, which is on March the 7th at KOFISI Square from 5 to 8 p.m. So if you haven't already signed up, then please do, to ask Jen some more questions about the Soccer Academy. But also we've got an important drive, because there are some, obviously, certain things that the girls lack, which they really need to have. So tell me a bit about that.
So the challenge, as much as we love football and as much as the kids love football, it's an expensive program. They need equipment. They have to go to matches. They're playing in a nationwide league, so they even go to Mombasa, and you can imagine how costly that is to take 20 players to Mombasa for a match. And so right now, something that we're trying to keep up with their league matches, but what we're really struggling right now is with his equipment. So, and then the fields that we play on, they're really rough, because they're mostly in kind of communities like Kibera. So they're not playing on turf or grass. They're playing on basically mud and dirt.
Yeah.
And so even if we buy them shoes, you find 6 months down the line, they're all worn down. They're basically like flat. There are no cleats or anything. So, we reached out to KOFISI to actually help do a drive so that we could get shoes for the team, just so that they can have what they need to, play it well and play with confidence.
Amazing. But this is for the whole academy. So I know that there was a specific size possibly for the team, but then equally the younger girls will need some equipment as well. So that's football boots and possibly some footballs, you were saying as well.
Possibly, because those also they get worn down so fast.
Amazing. So can you give me a quick heads up of maybe some names to look out for who might be playing it for the future Kenyan female football team?
So we have one player. She's named Medina. She started in Uweza when she was just in primary school. And she's kind of worked her way up. She was the captain of our team for a long time. And just this year, she was recruited to play for like a professional team.
Wow.
So in Kenya, but so she's getting paid a monthly salary. And she's just, I hear so much about how great she is and how amazing she is. And she came up through our academy. So she's definitely one to look out for.
Right.
And then the good thing about her is also she's coaching our girls. We took her to a coaching training. So she's coaching also our girls' academy.
Fantastic. Jan, it sounds like such a great initiative. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us more about it. And we look forward to seeing you on March the 7th as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.